Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Aurora Esports week 5. I think week 4.
This will
The
be week
first official
4.
week. Yes, week 4. First official week of the new groups. Today, I'm playing with Jambo, joined by the incredible Booney themselves on prod and color. We're heading back. I think they might have missed bands. Yes, that's correct. This is the first, again, of the new groupings. We will have Toronto Thunder Chickens taking on the Wyoming Wunks. Booney, how are you feeling going into this match about these two teams?
Oh, so it's technically the second game because we had the Firebenders game yesterday, actually.
Sorry, the first game of Group Moon.
Yeah, first game of Group Moon. So, yeah, going into this game, I'm heavily favoring the Thunder Chickens, not because I think the Wunks don't really stand out in this group, but I think because the Thunder Chickens were caught in a group of death in their first stage. The Spectres, the Raccoon Dogs, they lost on a tiebreaker. So if one map went their way, they would have been in that first group. So this team is on the brink of being in that top category. So I think them going into this group here, Group Moon, they should expect a pretty easy time and a bounce back in the next one. But the Wunks have still that X factor. That DPS line of Voyager, Didn't You See Me, is still a game buster if you allow it to be. And you can see the Thunder Chickens, obviously scared of that, are going to lock out the Vendetta here in the first map. But we won't see the Wunks with their kind of new look Malga with Luau on that character, which has been a kind of fresh look for them. You expect Wind on the tank most of the time, but shaking things up here for the Thunder Chickens. They have a lot of options here. They are no longer nearly as bannable as, say, like the Baby Girls last season with Wind on tank. So this should be a Thunder Chickens win, probably like a 3-1, but I think Didn't You See Me and Voyager can take a map.
You took my prediction straight away from me as well. I also predicted it to be a 3-1 in favor of the Thunder Chickens. Right, Thunder Chickens have looked really good so far at the start of the season, as you said. Again, and what a lot of people are saying is probably one of the hardest groups, and coming out, essentially tied for first. This is one of the few 2-1 teams that I think maybe the only 2-1 team that's in this group. Correct for.
Yeah, for Group 3, every team is either winless or only one win. So just with how good that early stage was. So unfortunately, everybody kind of feasting on the Kiangs there in that top group. But yeah, it just comes down to that head-to-head, and all of a sudden it came down to Kiang's tiebreaker, which the Kiangs did take the Chickens to 5. So a bit of a scare there for them in that early group, but they did get alive here. But look at this look here between heavy flex with the Didn't You See Me on that Venture, which I don't know if we've ever seen the Venture of Didn't You See Me all that much. And Voyager on the Emery, so a lot of damage going to put in here onto Wind. They want to melt the Zarya here early, but Greg cannot get walked down by this Reaper buys Cassidy with Big Stretch and Lucio. It's dangerous for Greg.
Aggressive TP in from Luau has to fade immediately, but they do get some good charge on Wind. However, Luau pays for it with their life. Biggie Stretch got out as well. A nice rock by Greg. This will cause the Wunks just to be able to push forward, putting a lot of pressure on Corgi. And again, the poke style is so favored right now in that early contention. It's kind of awkward on that high ground to TP in with the Reaper because you can space so efficiently. And again, tight quarters, not great for them.
And we're also seeing them kind of hold the space up right now. They don't want to let the Thunder Chickens to get in a position. They do not want to allow Luau to get at a good TP angle to get Wind that Zarya energy. Has 50% here and another bubble online, but Voyager is pretty close to the override protocol, which could be unleashed here at a moment's notice. So very dangerous situation here if the Thunder Chickens can't take the space, but Wind is going to get rocked, and now a lot of cooldowns are forced from both teams back to neutral.
Yeah, all the support cooldowns used by the side of the Wunks here. This should be the aggression call coming through for the Thunder Chickens as they do catch out. Didn't You See Me trying to be a little aggressive on Luau. This should be that tempo change here as now Wind trying to walk forward. Luau using that Wraith again early to take the space. The rush by Corgi. They're just trying to walk down this comp. Emre all in response by Voyager as well as Greg popping that Sigma ult. Will they connect? Yes, they catch the Lucio and Wind. Wind has bubbles for both of them though, so no picks coming out from either of those ultimates. Hyperbola having to TP it back just to stay last point will flip. Now Wind pressing forward, trying to take this space back. The Juno ring has to be used, but Hyperbola might be caught out. They're going. They're safe, just barely making out of there with their life.
Yeah, perfectly timed there from the E from Gray to keep them standing, but honestly a terrible fight there for the Wunks. Had to invest in so many... Okay, Didn't is dead for the fight where he breaks out. We saw Didn't going really aggressive on that dive, but did not have the backup to get away with the pick, and They didn't use any All-Star except for the Casino Rush for the side of the Thunder Chickens going against the Flux and the Override Protocol. Huge exchange for them now as they have point presence, and now Wind can give while these bubbles are on these corners, which is way more easy to get that charge and group alive. So it is definitely up to Luau here with Revolt online. Orbital Ray comes out here, force him back, but no grab comes out here with no Eva. Wind's dead! Oh, Voyager finds 2 shots on 2 ultimates!
Yeah,
hold on.
Juno ult, just hero plays there from Voyager. You know, Wind had a massive ult, and Luau's ult gets canceled, by the way. I don't know if we saw that.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, the Reaper Blossom does end up... so again, kind of vice versa from the opposite fight. Now, the team that used one ult both times in the 2 ends up winning the engagement. So we will see both teams trying to posture again on this high ground. But it's a really close fight so far.
Yeah, that grab and the blossom now gone. Big Adventure will have the beat to match, but Hyperbole 0, the big adventure. The Casino Rush online. And now DCB is found Luau. Forced out Wraith very early, so now Thunder Chickens at a huge advantage here with no bowls online for Wind.
A nice ultimate from Paradox does catch Voyager, so that is not favoring the Toronto Thunder Chickens in this fight. However, the Kirito Rush still up and stabilizing as Luau forced to Wraith early. Wind as well, low on bubbles. The rushes in response, though, come out from Corgi as they fall to half HP. As Didn't You See Me trying to hold the space, staying alive, uses the cooldowns. Now the Reaper in the back line. They need to be careful as they will find Didn't You See Me. Greg falls dangerously low as well. Will fall to Zuzu not quite in time as now the Thunder Chickens able to just press forward and cap that point.
You do get the Casino Rush and the High Noon, though, from the other side, so you are going to be, if you are the Wyoming Wunks, in a great spot to take this first point. You had the Grid of Flux as well as the Override Protocol. 2 huge death ultimates here for that damage. Biggie Stretch's beat has to be perfectly timed, and even then, it might not be enough to overcome just the amount of raw damage being pumped out here by Voyager in the sky. But it's not for territory for either side, so Big can get a big beat out here. We could see Wind with a grab mid-fight, and it could get very dicey here for the Wunks, but right now, big advantage for him.
Yeah, and here comes the engagements here, but the Suzu's forced so early from both these teams. Then you see me falling down to half HP, the Wraith as well from Luau. As here comes the Flux, but Wind should have both bubbles, but the beat is just there as well. Voyager takes to the sky with this ult, but they fall so low, and Didn't You See Me straight in this backline. Greg trying to maintain control on this point. The bubbles are there from Wind, though. Corgi deceives away, and Wind finds Greg. Voyager will connect to take out the Kiri, but no one can touch from the side of the Wyoming Wunks.
And yeah, Biggest stretches all to the beat, just enough to sustain. We saw them tank 2 shots from Voyager in the sky, but the beat held just enough to get him down that 1 HP. Corgi falls up with the Suzu to keep the Lucio standing. And then with this amount of healing being pumped out into Wind, able to keep that charge up and just melt down the opposition. Right now, I don't know about you, but I have not been moved by the Didn't You See Me adventure. I'm going to be 100%.
I think if you're running it, as we do see the swap come through, I think if you're running it, you kind of need more engagement, right?
They need speed or a follow-up more to help, because Wind has the peel with the bubbles to keep the team alive. Paradox has that flash as well. There's just not enough for Didn't You See Me to get out with those venture digs to find the value on that pick. But now we see swapping over onto the Devour, a much better pick here, especially for this open downtown area. Will to force Paradox and Luau to look more towards the sky and potentially makes Wind a lot more vulnerable on the ground, getting pumped in the damage by Greg on the off angles.
Yeah, we do see early aggression from this as well. Wind falling so dangerously low already, having to use some of those bubbles as well. As Luau breaking so early just from this raw pressure coming out. Wind is getting pocketed off so hard, but Voyager able to find Paradox because, again, there's no help. There's so much damage just in the front line from the Wyoming Wunks going forward here. Luau does get a trade on match play, getting a little too aggressive on the Juno ring in. As the point now in control of the Wunks with Wind on this flank, looking for more. They're walking up on this high ground. Will get spotted by Greg and poked down by a nice rock onto Luau as well. But Biggie Stretch is the one traded out. Voyager on this side angle doing a lot of pressure, just pumping in that damage. Corgi falls half, has to CP away. Luau as well takes one of the bubbles and Wraith. The rocks won't quite connect from Wind, but Suzu is forced from Corgi. This is another engagement angle as they will find Luau and the Wunks just now. Again, with this, they let the point swap, but looking much stronger now with this full poke about it.
Yeah, they're getting the damage they needed. Their point does flip because Wind is able to stabilize on the point with that Zarya bubble with the damage pumping out. But right now, they got to walk back into this very much harder, especially with Greg finding Paradox early. The hit scan, Paradox falling early in both these fights, which allowed Didn't See Me to get way more aggressive on the angles as well, and Voyager able to control the space with those burst rifle shots. So right now, Corgi has a big advantage right now for the Casino Rush charge. Just shows how much damage Wind is taking in the front line by walking into a barrage, walking into a flux. It's going to be tough here for especially keeping getting picked off like this. Not forcing any else on the Wunks either. So right now the Wunks Making the swap, you just see me on the far looking way better here in the skies.
Yeah, it just looks like there aren't answers right now from the side of the Thunder Chickens, right? I think they were trying so hard to just keep playing how they played that first point, but it just isn't working, the style they're playing now. Rush it and Flux both use here, but Greg just gets exploded in front of that Rush. That said, the Voyager has the ult, is able to apply this pressure, but the Echo is on top of them. They need to be careful as Voyager will fall. Didn't you see me falls dangerously low as well? And it looks like the Thunder Chickens may be able to take this point. As again, they're walking forward, they find Master Play, the Raj comes out, they catch Wind, they catch Biggest Stretch. This fight is not over. Hyperbola left along the point, but it's just a DPS from the Thunder Chickens. If Greg can get there fast enough, you can maybe win this 1v2.
It is a 1v2, and it is just the DPS. Yeah, but... Oh, Luau, very, very close. But with Corgi back, it should be the time for the Thunder Chickens to stabilize. They don't get picked off here, which they did not. Didn't see me Azori back. So now we're back to a 5v5 on the point here, but look at the ult bank for the Thunder Chickens. It's going to be tough here for Wyoming Wunks to take this over. Start off with a dupe, trying to get that free use of the override protocol, but right now, it's looking very rough here for them. Wunks are going to pack in with this use of orbit, right? They find Luau to start things off, so potentially could get costly for the Thunder Chickens if they don't get the picks back.
The big grab does come out. The Russian response is with a nice rock, but the beat from Biggie Stretch will keep everyone nice and healthy. They're both teams now in a pretty decent position here, though. But didn't you see me falling very low? Suzu is forced from Corgi, trying to take the space. Greg with another rock in the backline, won't quite connect. As Voyager needs to be careful. Wind is just walking forward. That's so much pressure with this amped up Zarya. Greg falling low as well. Yeah, just not able to stabilize through that Zarya pressure. The poke coming through, but Voyager is the first to fall. And Thunder Chickens maintaining control of this point.
Yeah, if you're the Thunder Chickens, you are definitely just wiping the sweat from your brow from that one. Having to use 4 ults to hold that one, but you do build up Corgi Casino here for last fight territory, and a heavy investment for the Wyoming Wunks. I'm surprised they invested in like that the Casino there at the end, not holding that for potentially this last fight here to pair with your Vidic Flux, but maybe the thing is winnable. It was looking very desperately, but Voyager down over a protocol, can't get built here for final fight territory, and now here comes a hard push from Wind with the Casino Rush.
Yeah, and this is going to be so hard. This Aurora Esports as well as the hands from Greg. You're at 9% and counting as then you see me now has fallen. Greg has to hit a massive flux here, but will catch Biggie Stretch, but bubbles are there. Won't be able to find anything. Instead, Master Play is the one traded in the front side. The rock won't connect. Hyperbole 0 gets flashbang, and Greg will die on the point for the Toronto Thunder Chickens, leading us 1-0 in this series.
A bit of a better look there for Wyoming Wunks there on our second point of downtown, but still just... We're seeing that Greg is having a trouble maintaining the space as a Sigma, especially against the Winzari with that amount of damage he can put in with Biggie Stretch on that Lucio. There's not enough resource to pump into Greg to keep him standing that entire time. But, yeah, things are looking up here right now for the side of Thunder Chickens taking that first map. But Wyoming Wunks did make it a lot more competitive than I think a lot of people maybe were expecting. So, potentially a bounce back with Vendetta now being back in the field of play. So...
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Do we want to send it to a map break, or do you think they're going to be... We do see the map already coming out.
We can probably go ahead and send us to a quick little map break. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Aurora Esports Clash Season 10, Week 4 continues after this.
Welcome back, everybody, to Thunder Chickens versus Wyoming Wunks. Sorry, Toronto Thunder Chickens versus Wyoming Wunks. Wouldn't be fair to only shorten one of the team names. We are heading to Esper, and a couple interesting bans this map, Goonie. We do see Winston banned out from the Thunder Chickens and Lucio in response. How do you feel about those bans coming out?
Well, I think personally right now the Thunder Chickens probably ban out that Winston because they know that Greg likes to play Winston for their dive style. It forces them to play that diva from Transflect most of the time, which is a big disadvantage against the Wind tank. Wonks do target out Biggie Stretch though. Get that rid of that Lucio. They know that Masterplay and Hyperbola not really known for the Lucio, so able to make it more their style of gameplay here. Potentially a lot slower in terms of how they want to play this with this diva. We'll see how Transflect decides to opt in this one. Do we see a Ramatra maybe to match more up towards the Winston or the Wind Zari? We'll see what we see. But Daniel should be back here now on the Vendetta, I'd assume. And I think the Vendetta versus the Venture in terms of getting in for some of the cooldowns from the Zari bubbles is a lot better at doing so, as well as just surviving just a run of raw damage that Vendetta can pump out. We are seeing, though, the Corgi and the Voyager match on this Emery. I think the Emery is definitely a hero that people in Aurora Goss are paying attention to a lot more. Ever since those buffs came through, we've been seeing a lot less Sojourn and a lot more just raw damage with those grenades, with that burst shot from the Emery, which, yeah, I never thought that we'd actually see a support or a DPS overcome the Sojourn gap, but right now Emery's definitely closed that with that self heal as well on the pistol perk. It's a bit nasty. And if you got players like Corgi and Voyager, why not stick him on the broken character right now and see what they can do?
Yeah, didn't you see me with a lot of early poke though? Again, still opting to play the Pharah still. Maybe thinking that this poke is the solution, as they do assume Wind is going to be playing that Zarya, Luau playing that Reaper, just trying to go in these engages. As didn't you see me does fall low pretty early here as well as Voyager, so both DPS kind of zoned out of this fight as Luau going very aggressive in his backline has to fade away, but had the bubble, stay nice and healthy, has his second bubble as well, just to make sure they're still in this fight, but engaged by a Transflag, they will catch Luau out of this fight. The nades coming through from both these Emrays, just sounding like nade spam everywhere out here. The orb as well from Biggie Stretch, just applying some decent pressure, some damage in this backline. Didn't you see me falling down half HP? Wind forced to use another one of these bubbles as Transflag walking forward, trying to deny some of the space being made. It's 5v4 though. The Toronto Thunder Chickens need to start walking forward a little bit, as Didn't You See Me is just blown out of the sky. The Suzu and Fade are both forced from the side of the Toronto Thunder Chickens, but they got their pick, and now they're taking this space.
We're seeing how hard it is for Wind to really hold the space up against the Diva without Lucio, but Wind just gets that high charge from Luau, going so aggressive on the Reaper early, gets the high charge, force Transfect away. DCB will swap now over onto Tracer off the Sphara, but way more pressure now. Sees the Kiriko Warrior backline, not a lot of peel here for the supports, so if DCB can get in this backline, can definitely be a big news for him going forward, and potentially take some resources away from Wind.
Yeah, we do see, again, some great stabilization. Even though that fight was pretty long, not much progress from either side here on this card. As Hyperbola needs to be careful. The Emery ult coming out here from Voyager, but Wind is just on top of them, melts them as now Wind still has bubbles to stay alive as well. The Suzu Sports on Transflex, meanwhile, in the front line as Hyperbola will get traded. Luau on a great side flank, just applying this pressure, getting these picks. Now Transflex and Didn't You See Me forced to back up, try to stabilize, but Transflex getting hunted down by Luau. Needs to be careful. If they get the D-Mech here, may be disastrous for the Wunks, but no, they will escape with mech intact.
But you win that for no ults. That's massive here for the Toronto Thunder Chickens. You're going to have the grab, you're going to have the Emery ult, you're going to have basically everything online, and Master Play and Hyperbola can match with the support ultimates, but Voyager popping in the override protocol there in a losing effort. Not going to look the best here. Dangerous to me, it's close to the Pulse Bomb, but it is Pulse Bombing at the end of the day, not the game-changing ult potentially. But Luau's found Voyager for the fight where he breaks out. Your main source of hit scan damage onto Wind is now gone. Now Wind is almost completely free to just melt your team in the front line. We see he has no fear holding this door, even in the face of Casino Rush.
Oh my goodness, and a lot of ults used here from those Thunder Chickens. They use the Rush, Emery ult, and Graviton just to secure all those kills, but again, you're totally okay using these ults because, again, Esper in particular is such a snowball-favored map that now they get the checkpoint, they're able to walk forward, and you still have Luau ult, you still have Coalescence coming up, and you know that there's no Kiri Rush, you know there's no Emery ult. Just really great aggression here coming from the Toronto Thunder Chickens. As now Translect falling so low. The Moira Orb, they're just keeping Wind nice and healthy. The Suzus come through as well as the Juno balls. I can't think of the name right now. Is now the duplicate comes out from Luau. We'll have that bubble as well. Now Transflex just getting melted. This damage from Corgi is doing work right now. The bomb is used. Luau's mech is given up. But again, it's a duplicate. They don't really care. Wind will find Master Play, but Voyager does take out Luau, so it isn't even fight. But Transflex is just so low. They no longer have that ult to get back in their mech. And now Wind just sitting uncontested right now, trying to get pressure down, but is just shooting them with this high energy. And has both supports on top of them, keeping nice and healthy. Voyager falling a little bit low, but getting zoned out by Corgi, hitting some nice shots. Wind does take out Hyperbole 0. Now there's no Juno ult in this fight. Wind will then follow up getting Voyager. So there's no Cassidy ult in this fight. Then they find Master Play. There's no Kiri.
My God.
And Biggie establishes.
No, yeah, I mean that entire fight, Biggie was just toying with Didn't You See Me there. Faded into a room, broke Din's ankles. Din was like looking around trying to find them where, but all of a sudden comes back with a recall force and still wins the 1v1. Biggie's stretch kind of huge. Is able to hold on to the clones here as well. We'll have Transflex finally stepping over onto Mantra, but might be a little too late here as Hyperbole does have open array, but they're opening things up with the Coalescence and Graviton Surge. There's not enough healing to sustain for the Wyoming Wunks as Wind still has a charge and has the damage. DNC tries to get one in the backline here, trying to get on the Kiriko, but the peel is there from Wind, and now there's just nothing they can do. Voyager had to invest in the high noon, but it's just a Kiriko, it's just a Cassidy against a high charge Zarya beam. It's going to be tough here. 2 minutes remaining. Casinos on top of it. It's looking like a done deal here, Flambeau. I don't know how much they got left in the tank here, but Thunder Chickens are digging deeper than possibly Imagine Us map. As once again, there's winning the all trades.
Yeah, they're building up these ults so fast, so aggressively, and then importantly also winning fights without using the ults. Transflex falling so low does get the Juno rockets to try to stabilize, but Hyperbola and Din both straight in the back line. Transflex just trying to stay alive as long as they can on the card, but with a full charge Zarya, it's a little tough to do so, and Thunder Chickens make it look easy on Esperanza.
Yeah, the full cat comes through there. And it does come down, to me, to some odd hero choices or potentially some late swaps coming through for the Wyoming Wunks. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe they're expecting, maybe they don't have like a hard hit scan carry on the other team for the Thunder Chickens, so you go Didn't See Me onto this Pharah. But when you're expecting, this Zarya here from Wind, and you're locking in this diva kind of divey look, you have to play as more as a unit, and without that Lucio, your supports really got caught out a lot there on that Kiri Juno. They're kind of getting walked down a lot by Wind in the backline, and Transfer just was not there to help for the peel because they got to take space away, but still, Thunder Chickens making this look pretty easy there on Esperanza. That was the Winston ban. Maybe we can go to like a Watch Point Gibraltar here now if you are the Wyoming Wunks. Pick that, force that dive. You got the Vendetta unlocked. You have Greg's Winston. They got to find some answers, and they got to find them quick. And hopefully they find them. It says break, don't go anywhere. Aurora Esports Clash will continue after this.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to map 3 between the Toronto Thunder Chickens and Wyoming Wunks, as we're heading to Junkertown. Again, looks like Wyoming Wunks still opting for these map choices before, any ban priorities, as they're hoping to win the Pokemir. Booney, what are your thoughts on this map choice and the bans that we saw highlighted on the screen?
I mean, it makes a lot of sense here for the Thunder Chickens to ban out that Widowmaker. If you're going Junkertown, you know the Voyager's got a sick, nasty one on him, so get rid of that. No offense to Corki or Luau, but we have not seen like the hard hit scan prowess in the Widowmaker duo, I should say. Corki was looking very good in the Emery last map, but they're sticking with this sort of look of big brain, big stretch on the support lane. Wind will be on the Dominant here, not wanting to play into that Sigma, but we've seen how good Dominant can be in his long-range Poke styles as well, with that beam extender perk as well as the unbreakable shield, it seems at times. So, and as for the Kiriko ban, we were talking about that we like the idea of a Kiriko ban, but it had to be either earlier in the series or on a different map than Junkertown, because Junkertown, I think even without the Kiriko ban, we'd probably see the same support line here for the side of the Thunder Chickens, because there's really no point in like that hard spam mirror to take the Kiriko for Suzus or anything. You can play the Baptiste, okay, but Win just dies. Fair enough. Maybe a Kiriko Suzu would have saved Win there, so maybe we were all mistaken,
Yeah, that's true. I think Big Brain and Biggie both punished a little bit. They're playing on this side angle, trying to set up.
Oh, what the?
More damages.
Whoa! Why are you there? Why are you there?
And then Corgi with another headshot. Again, these DPS are firing on all cylinders right now for the side of the Toronto Thunder Chickens, as they will continue pressing forward, taking the spaces. And now Wind on the Domina has the high ground control, able to set up these shields, and Corgi's able to free fire from kind of a safe distance. Both teams now walking forward, though. Greg able to match at this corner. That's what's important. But this Alari turret in a really good spot, able to just provide so much healing as Greg trying to deny this high ground, as the Dynamite will come through and not quite connect. But Voyager with a big pick on Big Brain. That's the go button here for now. If you are the Wyoming Wunks, didn't you see me takes out Corgi, and now everyone walking forward from the Wunks trying to get more of this ground back, more of these picks. And I like Didn't You See Me Sojourn. I think that's an excellent adjustment.
Yeah, I think so. They're just swapping Didn't See Me over onto the Sojourn to just shoot Wind, shoot the tank, get that charge up, find a pick on support here and there, but your damage is solely meant to force away Wind while Voyager puts in the work on the back end. It has Dragon Strike here already. The fight already breaks out right down Main Street, locks that in Wind. Does Wind get out? They do not, and there you go. Voyager does find two, but does get exchanged, but Wind for Voyager, a much better exchange here for Wunks, as they're going to hold here once again. 2 minutes off the bank already, and looking pretty good, just only using the Dragon Strike so far. Yeah, and the ults are building up.
They will catch Biggie Stretch on the lane, and as well as Corgi, so no respawn circles there. They weren't able to catch up with Wind. Now Wind actually opting just to swap over to the Sigma, but then gets a little bit too aggressive there. Transflect wasn't set up to be able to heal, as well as Hyperbole playing very safe in the backline, so Didn't You See Me does pay with their life. And that's maybe the momentum shifter here is, again, you're talking such a good time bank, sorry, I'm tripping over my words. As now we will see the Blizzard and the ult from Transflect coming through here. The freeze won't quite connect on Greg, playing those angles really well. The lamp comes out, but Luau will still die from Transflect with some good pressure. The window as well, but Big Brain gets picked through it. Greg using this flux as well as Hyperbole finds Biggie Stretch, and Wind will fall. And despite being down, Didn't You See Me for that fight, the Wyoming Wunks take that 4v5 and end up winning it.
Yeah, they were down Didn't You See Me here. Now a nice little pick from Didn't You See Me at the end, making up for the early loss in that that last fight. But Greg opting to use that flux, I would have been happy if they held on to that. I think it was definitely winnable if they didn't invest in the ultimate, because now it is 60 seconds left in the time bank. You're walking into a Bob as well as a Captive Sun. We're giving Nano here probably for a Nano Didn't You See Me overclock, which could just send this half to overtime. And Bob will be on the cart here early, trying to force out some space. But Bob's not in a good spot.
Bob fell in the corner, and Greg just has the hand. But
oh
my God,
Wind shuts that down.
Wind just walks forward, takes out Didn't You See Me. Now there's not going to be no ults from Didn't You See Me in this fight. It's now again 4v5 with no Didn't You See Me. This is exactly where the Toronto Thunder Chickens want to be, as the rock won't quite connect from Greg, and Greg does have the nano, but falls so low, and the their teammates are getting pressured so hard out as Voyager falling low, Translog falling low as well. They both have to back out. There's a large pile.
Voyager?
Biggie Stretch gets killed. Voyager with a nice shot. The Dragons as well. They separate Lua out of the fight. BCB comes back with the OC, finds win. These shots still coming through. Translog rolling gets traded by Big Brain. Corgi falling low, but has the pile.
Big Brain finds 3!
Big nade from Big Brain. It's just Lua on the point. It's Greg. Lua finds Hyperbole. It's Greg for Sloa on this.
Hey, yo!
The pylon is there. Greg.
Hey, yo!
The pylon. They have the hands, but Iron's coming by the
Hey, yo!
Oh.
Yeah, Big Brain just finds 3 on the Ana, just absolutely runs in, gives it their life for the cause, finds 3, brings him down, and then Biggie Stretch with the pylon on the water tower there, able to keep Luau standing long enough for the reinforcement to return with the Captain Sun with the Flux, and Greg cannot find the final blow. And despite the heroics of Voyager and Didn't You See Me, just not enough, and now a second point push here for the Thunder Chickens. It's looking so good for the Wunks, but a bit of a whiffing shots there from Greg on the Sigma. Can't quite find the final shot to send us to overtime, but now with Voyager once again finding another pick. Looks like they're stabilizing here once again on the defense, but Wind is very aggressive right now and finds Voyager. Hold on, this fight's not over just yet.
Yeah, what a rock. Connects on both Greg and Voyager and able to just chunk that damage here from Wind. But, you know, the Sigma, the positioning is favored right now for the Wunks. They're able to...
Oh, hey, yo, okay, champ.
You need to respect that a little bit more.
That one.
We do see the nano come through, so Greg is then punching in this damage. They will find Biggie Stretch, but Translog is traded in the backline. Wind will fall as well. The sleep comes out from Big Brain, but is traded as well. But this heart has not stopped moving during that time period. Corgi just sitting on top of it, able to push it around. Arguably one of the tougher chokes on the second point. So even if you end up now holding the rest of this point for the Wunks, getting around that corner and under that bridge is a pretty solid push, especially considering point 1.
I think it's safe to assume at this point now, Greg just don't gaff, bro. He just ran in there 2 inches from Wind's face and popped the ultimate in a choke that's a Sigma length wide. But doesn't matter, the team's able to win the fight off that one. Rock comes over onto Greg. Greg falling very low here. The Dragon's trying to stabilize, trying to get him back. Big Brain has fallen, so no more heroics from Big Brain and the Ana potentially here. Wind with a Flux finds Transplant in the backline, but it just lands on Transplant as no follow-up either. So right now, Voyager coming up here again, finds the picks. The spawn should favor the side of the Wunks for now, but Voyager falling so low. Captain Sun has to find the value, but Wind finds the eat, and now Corgi has the bob as well. We're seeing a complete repeat of point A once again here in overtime.
Okay, Biggie Stretch does fall low. The bob is there though. Greg is well back. The Translog does fall. Caught out a little bit there as the nano comes through onto Wind, so they will find Greg, and they should be able to cap the second point. Corgi does get traded out by Voyager, but the bob is there, just pressuring that damage on Voyager. Will get traded, and the cart will push forward, securing second. This has been just edge of your seat on each of these points so far, but just small micro mistakes right now from the Wyoming Wunks.
Yeah, just getting like early picked off sometimes, or just being a little too far pushed up. We saw Greg going really aggressive there at the start of that fight. Was able to get rocked and punished by Wind. The Dragonite came through and found Big Brain, but definitely much better exchange. And now the Captain Sun into the back line here. Wind does get knocked out with the rocks, and Wind can get punished here by Greg. A nice rock to isolate the Sigma on the other side. Is the follow-up here. Luau just finds Voyager. Both teams are down, and Wind is still alive.
Yeah, Wind actually lives disengaged. Will eventually fall, but the nade is there on the Greg, so Greg might actually die, but no. They have the Alari pylon. They're able to stabilize. Biggie Stretch, you know, trying to walk in, take that space, take that fight. Will live, but won't quite find a pick off and back that. And actually, no, they will not live. Didn't You See Me will clean up. So a pretty big stagger here on Biggie Stretch as we approach the last 30 seconds and only
once again
for the Wunks.
The Dragon Strike as well, the Flux here should be enough to hold here on point C, but Greg has to survive here, getting burned by that Sunburn perk from Biggie Stretch. Wind trying to claim some space up on his high ground. Corgi may get that bob last second here, but his last fight territory is never going to touch. It will be Luau.
What a sleep!
On the touch of Greg again, getting rocked in, but Greg is H'd up. Does Greg survive? No, they did not! It's went for an exchange.
And now again, the card's pushing forward. Wind is close to another Flux. Corgi's close to another Bob, and Big Brain is going to have another Nano. So again, no ults in this fight. were able to be used, but Greg off that sleep and the rock just gets exploded. Now the Scar, it's last fight territory, and the ults come through from the Toronto Thunder Chickens. Then you see me finds Biggie Stretch. The pulse comes through and connects on Translate. So Translate now on the
99%.
The flux comes through. Win.
Sig9.
WinCon is set.
Just how I drew it up.
Holy! If you are the Wyoming Wunks, you are both breathing a sigh of relief, but also maybe digging into your chair's armrest a little bit.
Just about to say where we're digging, twin, but okay. I mean, that last fight it's pure chaos. First off, you know, Greg gets hit with his sleep, nice sleep from Big Brain, fall up with a rock, gonna fall early, but then it comes down to the nano is perfectly timed over on towards Danger Simi to survive that slide-in damage. Was critical, but had enough resistance with that nano, and Wind with the flux on the sliding Sojourn can't land just the tippy toes of the Sojourn, so gonna whip that on that ultimate, and then DC comes in with that overclock, finds a pick, and then at the end of the day, Greg comes back just in time from spawn and hits the Sig9. The Bob just barely, 1 or 2 seconds late to touch that cart and keep it moving. Greg did find 2 picks in the flux anyway, so it probably would have been the same regardless, but Sig9 is way more funny. So, but now when we look at it here, big swap up here for the Thunder Chickens. We're going back to this Cassie, back to this May, but Diva here for Wind. I'm guessing Wind is just Hunt Voyager, because Voyager and DCM are doing a little too much right now. When DCM doesn't overheat and just run in and die 1v5, we just only saw it twice at point A, but it happened, so it got called out. Right now, that adaptation from the DPS on point B and point C, maintain their space and find his picks was perfect for the side of the Wyoming Wunks. And now, like you said, they have a win condition. And with Junkertown, it's very rare to see not a full cap most of the time on this map, especially in this league. So if they can get point A open, I can definitely see a cap and potentially a map pick here for the side of the Wunks.
That said, though, with the May into the Sigma, it's going to be so hard to get around this corner.
You were saying.
Unless you do that, just kill them before the wall even comes out. 5-head. Just like doesn't have the lamp to stay alive and does not win in maybe a not so comfortable situation, eyeing down these DPS as Greg able to just walk forward, get this card around this corner, and win his D-Mac. Just such a late D-Mac too. Greg will survive very close. As now Hyperbola needs to be careful.
Oh, how does
going Big Brain as they will get traded, but Voyager didn't you see me will find 3 in that fight. Luau is now back. Swapping the Hanzo. I don't know if I like the Hanzo swap off the May. I kind of really like the May. Look,
holy team swap. But I still don't think that the Thunder comp is better here. Like, the Hanzo match, I think the Sojourn is better in this particular brawl with the Sigma to just break that shield down a lot easier. Big stretch over on the Moira here when Transfight has a huge advantage now in that tank duel or just survivability with the Immortality field. So I think the Wunks, with that just barrage through point A with 5 in the time bank, forcing the swaps, forcing the alt bank to be reset, are in a great spot. If Wind can get displaced here or taken down, we might be seeing a point B capture even at the back. His ults that we have ready to be unlocked. Did she be on a hard flank angle right now? But Hyperbola down. So good start here.
Yeah. Big early pick, but again, with having the Baptiste and the Ana, you're not too concerned, right? Obviously, losing the Ana is tough, but you have the window. You still have Transflect as well, applying this pressure. But Wind just walks forward and kills the UCB. So now you are a little concerned, and now this is where it's going to be really tough to walk forward, right? You brought up that you like the Sojourn for the pressure on the Sigma. I agree. That said, it's so hard to walk into specifically this corner on Junkertown when there's a Sigma in your face and then Ash and Hanzo both on side angles just pressuring whatever direction they decide to walk. But ults are still in favor here for the Wyoming Wunks as they will opt to walk so aggressively here. The nade won't quite connect from Big Brain. Very close, but everyone falls low. They have to use the lamp on top of this window here as everyone just sightline. The Dragons though connects onto Wind. Actually, Wind takes 0 damage. The rock does connect as well as the Hyperbola dies. And now the nade connects. Greg will fall. The Dragons from Luau won't quite find anything. But a rock!
Did Wind whiff?
No! He got rocked by Greg! They did the same thing as they did on the attack. But Voyager has that lamp, tries to alive, but the nano does come through. They force out the nano and Dragons here. So Yeah, that was a fight that happened.
I mean, 3 ultimate defense to definitely take that for the Wunks. You still have 3 minutes in the time bank. That's how good your attack on A was. Now you're walking in with, once again, a huge advantage. Just the bob for Corgi on the other side. If you can get this rock out from Win, force this flux through from Greg, we're going to be in a good spot here for the Wunks. But Corgi has his off angle controlled. We need Didn't You See Me to take that angle and fight off the Ash on that, not allow him to hold that, because right now Greg is having trouble even just going down these stairs with the damage that Corgi pumping out. Voyager finds open to pick on a big stretch. That's huge. That's a Cole now gone.
Yeah, Bob, though, in response now, able to just hold pressure on the cart. They might actually find Transflex off of it. The sleep won't quite connect as Greg uses the flux. They're just trying to kill Wind. They will get it, but Didn't You See Me actually traded as Wind fell. My dying message saved the world. Big Brain doesn't get killed as well. Luau finds Voyager, asserts the Hanzo dip. And so even though Greg is killing a bunch in the front line, this card is not able to move. You know, there's still 4 people, you know, in the area.
Oh, Greg!
Rock, okay. Greg just drops, hits Luau over the head with a brick. And now Corgi falls down half HP, still getting pressured out. Greg trying to establish this high ground, Translect in a nice spot, able to pressure out. I need to see Didn't You See Me get some kind of value with this ult. They've been having it for a little bit of time here. They're able to set up on
everybody on the team that plays ult for so long. Yeah. But now he comes in with the overclock potentially here, but the nano might just be enough to dissuade the touch from the Thunder Chickens as Didn't You See Me pokes that through. So again, another point, another ult held, but still a full cap comes through here. 3 minutes now to not even complete the map on Junkertown C with the ults you have online. Taking this slow here might be the play for the Wunks. Force out some ults from the side of Thunder Chickens and just barrage them, as a lot of space being given here for free almost to the Wunks. Nice nade though. We'll force that off.
Yeah, they actually get Voyager off the back of that nade. Big Brain just doing so much on the Ana right now. It's now Wind wrapping on Greg. Both these Sigmas trying to feel each other out a little bit, but again, Big Brain is just kind of uncontested on this angle right now, just able to keep everyone nice and healthy, and Greg is taking a lot of poke. The nade won't quite connect onto Greg, but Transflex, you don't really want to be the one on the cart as the Baptiste, and that we see why. Transflex,
oh, Greg again!
Very low. Greg with a nice pick, has to use their hands, and the Dragons in response from Voyager trying to punish his aggression as Greg uses the flux. Does catch Wind! They don't have the rock. Wind falls very low, but they have the hands and a nice nade. But no, Wind is still traded. Greg pushing forward. They're trying to find Luau. Luau does get the mega. Will stay alive as Biggie stretch forces the fade by Didn't You See Me on card. There are no supports here yet, though. Hyperbola has to use a nade. This is insane. And now the Wunks walking forward. They're trying to deny this space. And Voyager again taking Corgi out of the fight early. And now a nice stagger onto Big Brain. No, Big Brain actually catches the respawn timer. So that's a pretty decent death, honestly, of Big Brain to die when they did. As now we're into final fight territory here for the Wyoming Wunks. They need to win this one, but 3 ults from the side of the Toronto Chickens. They're trying to posture here. The window will come out as with the Dragons in response as Translect falls so dangerously low.
Oh, you're gonna burn to death!
But Translect follows a nice dynamite from Corgi, and even with the window, you're not able to win the fight. Didn't You See Me now popping the ult, gets the nano as well. The rock won't quite connect from Greg. Greg now falls so dangerously low, but Didn't You See Me does find Greg in the background. Will get traded. The rock won't quite connect. Wind instead taking the kill off that nano. Wind walking forward will secure more, and it's a full team favor. Hyperbola does hit the exiting sleep. Can they live? Yes, they will survive with Transflex healing.
But now you're walking into a Bob here on the attacking side, and only 1 minute left in the time bank. You know, maybe Greg can build that flux mid-fight here. Voyager will definitely have Dragon Strike. But honestly, the Thunder Chickens have a nice advantage here. Able to hold high ground, hold positioning here. The swap as well over onto Juno for last fight territory. If they can get just pumping that healing full on towards Wind, as well as a speed ring for disengagement, once that Dragon Strike is used, we might just be seeing a Thunder Chickens 3-0 here. It's looking so good for the Wunks. But just a dump of ultimates not going their way here at the end of point C. Voyager has to be huge, and they find Big Brain! That might be what they needed.
Big pick. Wind also having to use the hands back up, forcing so much from
Voyager.
Biggie stretches. Voyager again. Voyager's doing so much. Voyager wants it. The Bob will connect. Bob already half HP. They should be able to turn the rocket next on Greg, though. Greg needs to be so careful. The Dragons, they force the race from the Moira, but Wind is just walking forward. The shield's there. Greg hits the flux. Do they connect?
No, they don't!
No, they miss. The goal lesson for Biggie stretch as well to keep everyone nice and healthy. The hands won't heal from that beam. It starts like falling so low, and Wind is in such a good spot there. But Did You See Me finds Corgi? Corgi now wants to get out of the fight. The nano onto Voyager. Greg kills Wind. Voyager trying to use the shots. They're looking for more. getting those judo shots. Big Brain falling low. Greg will miss the rock. Translation killed by Biggie Stretch in the back line. Biggie Stretch on the carbs. Luau falls slow. Biggie Stretch.
No way.
Purple falls slow. Biggie Stretch's face and kills by Purple. It killed Greg and Biggie Stretch. They're doing so much. Did you see me? Oh my gosh. The Toronto Thunder Chickens holding on throughout. What a scrappy fight on that last point, but the 3-0.
How many picks do Voyager and DCM have to get there on the final fight to get over the finish line? Just it seemed like they got 3 or 4 of them things up, and still there's 5 people in the cart somehow for the side of the Thunder Chickens. I don't know. Just spawn advantage are huge for the defender's side. And yeah, the Nano was probably looking for Did You See Me, but ended up on the Voyager, couldn't land the final blow they needed. And then just way too much pressure in multiple angles there onto Greg with the Coalescence, with the flux from wind. Just too much to overcome. And the Wunks are unfortunately sent packing here. And they lose their first match here of Group Moon. But Thunder Chickens, I think coming out like both me and you expected there, looking very strong.
Yeah, I think this is Thunder Chicken's group to lose. You know, especially if they keep playing how they did today, and we didn't even see all of their looks, right? A very common look. They run Luau tank sometimes. They looked very comfortable today. I'm interested to see if there's another team that can. Again, Wunks played them pretty close, especially on Junkertown and on Samoa. So we will see. You know, these two teams going out through the rest of this group, but I really do think the Thunder Chickens, if you're in Group Moon, you got to watch out for that team.
Yeah, I'd be definitely inclined to agree with that one. And now we have to give ourselves a match MVP here for the Toronto Thunder Chickens. It was a full team effort. You know, people play multiple roles here as well. So it's going to be tough to really decide onto one. But honestly, I have somebody in my mind for the absolute heroics on Junkertown and just a consistent play all around. But I'll let you give your opinions first.
No, I'm happy to give whoever you want. I mean, obviously you can sing praises for like Wind all the way to the moon. But I think the support line for the Toronto Thunder Chickens were just so solid today. I think, again, Big Brain had some massive nades and sleeps, especially on Junkertown. Again, we couldn't even really see Esper. Like that's not trying to be disrespectful, but everyone just lived on the Thunder Chickens, right? And you know, the basis of that is if your support line is playing safe, they're applying that pressure. I mean, Big Brain just did so much when they were in, and honestly, Biggie Stretch too. Right, like I actually quite liked the Moira from Biggie Stretch today.
I agree.
You know, when you have flex supports as good as the Toronto Thunder Chickens do, it's honestly pretty good to just have Biggie Stretch just kind of beat a third DPS sometimes. Like they were fading in, they were essentially being the flex DPS on their team today, while Corgi and I'm blanking. Luau were playing 2 hit scans, right? So I think I'm happy to hear who you suggest. I'll support it regardless, but I think the support line for Thunder Chickens won them the series today.
Yeah, I had it down to 2, and when I first said I know who it's going to be, it was going to be Big Brain because of, you know, the funny haha 3K on Junkertown, on top of the nade sleeps and stuff like that. But honestly, I'm thinking back to map 1. You had that beat from Biggie Stretch there at the end of the first point. Samoa survived the Greg Flux and the Override Protocol. Kind of keeps the team standing in that 9-9-9-9 situation. They'll take that first point home. And then that second map, you know, with that one highlight against Didn't You See Me stands out to me on the Moira. And that last map as well. Find the value on this Moira, which is very unorthodox on that Junkertown, getting that final contest there with that Coalescence as well in the overtime fights. Honestly, I was thinking Big Brain at first, but I think I convinced myself of Biggie Stretch at the end to give a shout to that, as well as playing all 3 maps. I believe Big Brain did not play map 1, so you know, Big Brain definitely had a good shout there, especially on Junkertown, but you gotta think that Biggie Stretch had the moments when they counted, like the overtime push in Junkertown as well as that beat on Samoa. So I'll go ahead and we'll give the Biggie stretch.
Well deserved.
Well deserved. I mean, it could have been any of them. Yeah, obviously either Big Brain or Biggie stretch. It was that support link you said that won them the series by far. Great showings from all players on Thunder Chickens, but we can go ahead and bring in Biggie Stretch for an interview real quick as well. Where are they at? And there they are, our MVP for the Thunder Chickens today, Biggie Stretch. Congratulations on the win and the MVP. Initial thoughts here after the series?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I haven't. I'm not.
All good.
I don't know. It was a fun match. I was surprised they let me go Moira.
Well, we were hyping up your Moira.
Really?
Yeah, we or at least I really liked it because again, you were almost playing like a flex DPS. You know, when you have another co-support as good as Corgi or as good as Big Brain, being able to have you kind of play at like more of a flex DPS style on that main support, really does help create just a lot of additional pressure. That if you know when Corgi or Luau are holding some really good angles, and you're able to just go and clean up, and you had some big coalescences too. So we were really liking what we were seeing. So congratulations on your win.
Yeah, thank you.
I guess a question from me mostly goes to a couple of moments in this series that kind of gave you the edge. Our other option for MP would have been Big Brain, but we came back to some moments, you know, like on that Samoa, getting that beat just in time for that Flux and Emery ult combo. They're on that first point of the Volcanic Labs, and then, you know, I want to walk through the idea of the Esperanza because we're getting the POV of that 1v1 you hit against Didn't You See Me on sort of their attack side, and it was a really fun to watch. So honestly, who I want to know, like, who on your team is sort of like this big IGL, except for Wind? We all know that's the answer. Who has the ideas to come in and kind of make these clutch plays happen? Because we saw Junkertown, you guys went to overtime all 3 spots, all 3 attack rounds, and then just at the end, you're able to hold for like 5 minutes on the 3rd point. So I mean, I guess who was like stepping up in that IGL role today, as well as kind of just overall fight planning for your squad to look so confident and competent in those high pressure overtime situations?
I think Corgi did a great job at making balls and like just coming up with those fight plans and like those last minute things when we were like in the heat of the moment.
I mean, you guys were not only in the heat of the moment on Junkertown, you were in the freaking flames, bro. Like on.
Yeah.
But you know, pressure makes diamonds or something, and God give a shout out to Big Brain there for that 3K on Junkertown A. That
God,
was on the Ana. I was like spectating Greg, and all of a sudden I just see the Ana just fly in from the right side of my screen, slam an A on the ground, and I just see the kill feed up with 3. I'm like, what the hell just happened? So. Yeah, I mean, you can't really plan that either if you're Corgi. I'm guessing Corgi probably didn't say, okay, guys, we're going to go in and get Big Brain finds 3 when we're all dead. That's a good fight plan. I don't think that was probably as Coach drew it up, but in the spirit of March Madness, everybody needs a hero.
Yeah.
Hey, but shout out your pylon, though, there, too.
The pylon as well.
Your pylon may have won that fight.
Yeah, I did realize.
Besides Big Brain killing 3.
Yeah.
But
yeah, more focused on
I do have another question too, Booney. I don't know if you have more as well besides El Clasico, but you know, this was the first match for you guys in your new group, right? I think a lot of, you know, first grouping, you were essentially tied for first place too, right? So it's a little tough to end up in this 3rd bracket, but given that, I think you guys are set up really well to succeed in this bracket. So I think, you know, you're definitely the favorites of your current group. Is there anyone really, you know, and in case you weren't aware, right, the other, you know, you beat the Wunks today. The other teams in your group are the Bitterns, Marmots, and Pyros. Are you, you know, at all worried about those other three teams, or is there anyone you're looking forward to playing against? What's kind of the mindset that you and your team are in over these next 3 or 4 weeks?
I don't know. We haven't, I guess, talked about the teams that are coming up. We just kind of have a F it, we ball. And just kind of go in and play our best. Yes.
Because I'm looking
That's-
forward at your
that's
guys'
fair.
schedule here, and you guys face the Marmots next week. I think that should be a really, really fun game to watch. So I'm looking forward to seeing that one on the big screen. What's your other games here? You got the Persistent Pyros and Factory Bitterns. I think two teams you're probably favored against here as well. I think guessing the Marmots is probably the one you guys are more nervous about going in. But yeah, this should be a really good stage for you guys. Looking forward to seeing this improvement because, like we said, you were tied for first basically in terms of map diff and stuff, but just one match where you got caught lacking in a 3-2 victory. Might we add, was the thing that sent you down here. So good bounce back stage for you guys. Hopefully here, you guys look like a fun team to watch. But with that being said, we will ask you El Clasico before we send you on your way. If you cannot be MVP for this match, who'd you go to on your team and why?
Probably Big Brain for kind of for that nade and just carrying us that last point there on Junkertown.
Yeah, it's tough to give it to really anybody else, I think, but Big Brain for those plays at the end. Maybe a bit of recency bias as well, but we don't care about that at all. Plus, it's just boring to say wind, so might as well say somebody else.
Yeah.
Again, thanks for the interview, Biggie Stretch. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you had a fun time with the interview, and we send you back to your team to celebrate, and best of luck the rest of the stage.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations.
that was like full Neon Genesis Evangelion ending tone from you right there. Congratulations. Congratulations. I got anything to say before we send ourselves out here, Flambo Jambo?
No, just thanks everyone showing up. A lot of matches today, very busy day, so be on the lookout. If you're not playing, there might be a lot of POV streams. I don't think there will be any other official streams this evening, but other than that, thanks for having me. Always happy to cast with you as well, Booney. Thank you for joining me and doing the God's work, and everything like that. But thanks everyone else for showing up, showing out, all those good things. But I'm gonna go get ready for my match.
I will do the same. So that being said, everybody, thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. Have a great rest of your day, buddy.